Hello everyone and welcome back to Soul Freedom Harmony. Thank you so much for being here and for opening yourself up to explore this vulnerable topic. So today we are going to talk about 5 dangerous social dynamics that are happening anywhere and everywhere to help you to spot them if they are happening, and also to tell you what to do to keep yourself safe and also to have the potential to support the rest of the group to engage in a healthier dynamic and or get the fuck out. So without further ado, let's jump in to the deep dive of today's video. Abusive/dangerous social dynamic number 1. Zero-sum games. So what is a zero-sum game? A zero-sum game is when one or more people is playing this game with one or more people. And it goes a little something like this. I want this. Well, I want this. Well, we're going to have what I want, not what you want. Well, no, we're going to have what I want, not what you want. I win, you lose. No, I win, you lose. It's like this idea that one side has to win out over the other one, and the other has to lose. Examples of games like this happening can be something as simple as, I want to go to McDonald's. Well, I want to go to Burger King. Well, tough luck, we're gonna go to McDonald's. Or, well, fine then, like, we'll just have it your way, like, I lose and you win, even. That's a very simple, yet very real example of a zero-sum game. Now, on a bigger, more serious level, what might a zero-sum game look like? I believe that I should be paid more in this situation. Well, we don't agree with you, this is what we've decided. Or like, I care about this thing. Well, we don't care about this thing. So in order to stay a part of this group, you either have to not care about that thing or leave. I think you get the picture. So what to do if zero-sum games are being played? Well, recognizing that one side of the argument or the decision or whatever it is that's playing out feels that it has to win or lose is in and of itself the thing which is unhealthy, because if one side of a dynamic wins and the other side loses, whichever way round that happens, the entire thing is losing, because each side of the dynamic is part of a whole. We are all part of one. We are all part of the same energy. So if any side is pressuring another side to choose something against its will, it's not loving. The only possibility of love and to stop playing this zero-sum game is to find a win-win possibility. For example, I want to go and eat pizza. Well, I want to go and eat Chinese. So these don't agree about which restaurant. What would be a healthy way of dealing with this situation? Say if it went the same way around as before. Well, we're going to go here or there and one of us is not going to be happy. Well, actually, how about the possibility of exploring and finding a kind of food that we both like? So, do you like Indian food? Do you like vegan food? Do you like, oh yes, I like this, I also like this too. Great, we can go with that option, the win-win. One side does not have to win out over the other. Example number 2. I feel in the way that the team has decided who is getting paid what, my percentage is not fair. Well, we decide that it is, so tough luck. Actually, I feel like it will be good if we all sit down as a team and listen to everyone and come up with a set of percentages that feel good to everyone. oh yes, that sounds great. We could listen to everyone and decide on percentages that feel good to everyone. We do not have to enforce our perspective on you, and you do not have to enforce your perspective on us. Great. So win-win scenarios are the safe option in this dynamic. If it happens that you present the possibility of a win-win situation and exploring that and finding that solution, and you are met with a denial that the game is being played, a continuation of the game, or an unwillingness to find a win-win solution, you are at this point part of a zero-sum game that you don't want to be playing. You have the possibility to leave. And I would recommend at that point, if you're in a dynamic where the other side will not see the game and also will not participate in us finding a win-win solution together, I'd recommend to get the fuck out. Have you ever experienced a zero-sum game? What did you do about it? And having heard this information, what would you do differently next time? So please share your experience of zero-sum games in your life in the comments below if you have noticed them. Or perhaps if it's not something you've ever noticed, see if you can spot it next time it happens. How it feels to know that you're part of a zero-sum game is it feels like a fighting of it's my way or the highway going on between in one or both parties, basically. If there isn't a we consciousness being exercised and finding a solution together, someone's going to lose. The whole thing is going to lose. No one's going to be happy. Or maybe the people who are enforcing the win while you lose, maybe they'll be happy. But it's not possible for all parts to be happy during that situation. And if one part is unhappy, really the whole thing has got something going on that needs to be addressed. So, yeah, at that point, I would say leave. So, that's what I do. So, number 2, scapegoating. So, what is scapegoating? Scapegoating is when a family or a group are not taking responsibility for their own pain, trauma, dysfunction, anything that's happening inside of them that they don't want to look at, and are unconsciously, collectively deciding to place that blame or projection onto one person who is used as the scapegoat. So an example of that happening is a household where the whole family has its own trauma and the dynamics altogether are quite dysfunctional, but one child is named as the mentally ill one or the one with all of the problems and is the only one who is sent off to therapy, for example. Another example is that if a whole team is in collaboration in some way, and one team member speaks out about the way that they feel the dynamic is going, and the rest of the team will not receive that perspective and pushes it back to where it came from, leaving this person still in a very painful situation of relating and not able to feel seen, heard, and to have everyone take responsibility of the way we are affecting each other. That is also a form of scapegoating. Also, the example we used before where a team could decide on who is getting paid what and could undervalue one member, and then when this member speaks out, fail to recognize or fail to admit or speak as a team or come up with a win-win solution. It's also a way of scapegoating, like these can kind of intertwine how these dynamics are used. So if scapegoating is happening, what do you do? It depends which side you're seeing it from. If you can see in a dynamic someone else being scapegoated, then you can inform the rest of the group what you feel is going on and try to get everyone to, or invite everyone to look at the situation as, what role are we all playing here? Like, how are we all affecting each other? Am I making sure that I own everything that's mine? And how is that person doing who is having that experience? Like, we look at it together as a team and we admit that if a dynamic is going on in a team, it affects everyone and it includes everyone. The scapegoat doesn't scapegoat itself. So this is a way that you could present the observations to the team and ask everyone to take responsibility together and to look at what's happening and to support that person and everyone else to come to a place of resolve and feel better in the relationships. If you are the person being scapegoated, it's a similar thing. It's like to present your perspective and how you're feeling and how you're receiving the others and share what your experience is and invite everyone to look at the dynamic we are creating together, to make sure we're taking ownership of our own stuff and to care about the way that we affect each other and to listen to what changes might need to be made together and things like this. If these kinds of changes are not able to happen, for example, if the group is not able to receive and value the perspective of the person who is being scapegoated and collaborate in order to make the relationship feel good for everyone, that is also when I recommend that you leave. Like, the same thing is if you try to introduce your idea to the rest of the group about the scapegoat, even if it's not you and the group doesn't want to take responsibility about that, I also recommend leaving. It's like, when these dynamics become dangerous is when somebody is presenting how they feel in the dynamic and wanting the team to collaborate to work through it together. The team is not willing to look at it or admit it or entertain it, just wants to continue having the scapegoat in that role because they cannot bear to witness what is being triggered in them as a result of this, then it's absolutely dangerous for the person who is in the role of the scapegoat. This person is carrying so much already and just wants to return the boundary back to where it belongs. If that cannot happen, the scapegoat is not safe. So I recommend leaving. So, number 3, Irresponsible Power Dynamics. I've kind of made this up myself, but why I called it Irresponsible Power Dynamics is when I mean one or more people in a power dynamic are not taking responsibility for being in that power dynamic and how that's affecting the one at the other side and not having the receptivity and sensitivity to know how that dynamic is acting. Also, the one on this side who is on the lower side of the power dynamic, not being able to reach this person and to have themselves validated and heard and received and understood and treated in a way that feels better to them. So, an example of irresponsible power dynamic would be if somebody is in a position of authority and they are enforcing something onto the person who is with less authority, and the person with less authority is speaking out about how they disagree and how it makes them feel, and this person is not taking responsibility for the effect that they are having on this person and is just saying, no, it's something with you just need to do what I say. Another example is somehow in this dynamic, the main thing out of balance is the person with more authority, because this is the one who can do the most damage. Like, if somebody is with a lot of authority and they are not aware of like forcing this person or not understanding or feeling the emotions with this person, like not feeling this person becomes very afraid and may just submit or not know how to reach this person. It's quite a helpless position to be in. So what I suggest as how to protect yourself is, if you are in this position where there is an abuse of power going on and you are not being met with true authority. You are being met with like abuse that's dressed up as authority. My first recommendation is to stand up and say how you feel, say your perspective, say how you feel the dynamic is, and how you feel that the person here is not taking responsibility of that authority and is using it in a way that's abusive and isn't feeling you, isn't understanding what you need. And if you are in the side where you see that you're actually abusing the power, it would be to look at why might that person be reacting that way, and asking them, how are you receiving me? When I do this, how is your experience of that? How do you feel as me in this position and you in this position? Like, how could we become more harmonious? This one is about like taking responsibility for how you're affecting that person and looking inside as to like, what am I not feeling that I'm using bossing this person around to avoid? And with the person in the lower side of the dynamic, it's like, what about me like isn't respecting me enough to stand up for myself in this situation and to stand up for yourself in that situation? And if you are met with, no, it's just you and you should just look at your own stuff, and this person also won't agree that they're having stuff, like it's about both sides admitting that they have internal stuff and that they're affecting each other in a way that is not safe for both of them, that is not loving, that is not caring, that is not receptive, sensitive, conducive to the best interests of each one, taking care of the needs of each one. If it's not possible to establish a we consciousness where we can discuss how we're affecting each other and what changes need to be made, and I can take ownership of my own stuff in a supportive environment, then I recommend that you get the fuck out. So, number 4, spiritual bypassing. So, what is spiritual bypassing? Using spirituality as a way to bypass, overlook, try to make not exist things about your physical, human, energetic aspects of your being. Trying to use higher dimensional teachings and concepts in order to get rid of, go beyond, make not exist, reject, disown, deny, suppress, fragment away from aspects of you that are lower. So, what is the problem with doing this, first of all? It's that we cannot use a truth to get rid of another truth. At one level, we are the being, whatever you want to call it, and at this level, in a very real and profound way, we include our human aspect. We include emotions, a mind, thoughts, feelings, needs, desires. And using bypassing to try to get rid of or go over or invalidate or nullify or go fast to the finish line before something is resolved, anything like that, using spirituality to do anything like that, is not actually succeeding at getting rid of that thing, because you can't get rid of something that is a part of you not like that. You can't get rid of something that is a part of you with force. If something is supposed to not be a part of you anymore, it can only happen because that thing has naturally evolved into something else through an attitude of unconditionality, and that is what happened from a place of love. When we try to bypass things away because we don't like them, we think they shouldn't be there, we think they should be different, we think it makes us less, we think anything is wrong with an aspect of existence, and we bypass it, all it is doing is making that thing retract with shame and fragment into an isolated place, but it doesn't stop existing. It accumulates pain, it becomes destructive energy. It is what makes people feel like they don't belong to a group because certain parts of them are not allowed. Spiritual bypassing is very, very dangerous. It's when any aspect of existence is not seen as valid because another thing is like more valid. In this moment, only this is valid, not this. This is valid and this, and it's very important that we don't bypass things. The most commonly bypassed things are the mind. You just gotta silence your mind. You just gotta put your emotions aside. These are the very commonly bypassed things. You've just got to transcend your needs, transcend your body, stop desiring. What is stopping desiring? You must first have a desire to stop desiring. We can't stop desiring. We have a mind, we have emotions, we have a body, we have needs. Those are very important parts of existence that need and deserve to be honored, included, validated, valued, and allowed to exist in their divine natural place. I'm a bit sassy in this video, quite passionate, can you tell? So it's very important what I'm sharing, this awareness to support people to feel safer in social environments. We all deserve to feel safe around each other and for it to be okay if we want to bring awareness to dynamics or share how we feel. We all deserve the possibility of we consciousness where everybody looks at how we're affecting each other and cares about each individual as well as taking responsibility for our own stuff. So, what to do if spiritual bypassing is happening? The solution is almost always the same. Say, confront it. Say, hey, like when this is happening, this aspect of existence is being overlooked, excluded, or dismissed, or something like this. And I feel that including this aspect of existence holds a lot of value. I can see it causing pain when we're trying to bypass this. The healthy response is, oh yes, like receiving this and making a effort together to include the thing that's trying to be bypassed, to look at the pain that's coming up that is the reason for wanting to bypass. And it's okay, like, not to demonize why bypassing happens. Bypassing happens as a protective mechanism to try to get us away from pain. And it's okay that this mechanism exists. It's also something that we need to look at and see if we want to continue in this way or if we could continue in a slightly different way that includes everything. There is value inherent in spiritual bypassing. What value might be coming from spiritual bypassing? It might show us that if bypassing is trying to happen, that there's something painful. So it can invite us to look with care and compassion and tenderness and to come together when this is trying to happen. It can act as a messenger. Hey, like, something wants to bypass. Okay, thanks for letting us know that there is pain. And what to do if, once you present your perspective, nobody wants to look at the bypassing and we want to bypass the bypassing, I recommend getting the fuck out. So, the fifth and final dangerous, spicy dynamic of socials that we are exploring today is gaslighting. What is gaslighting? Gaslighting is when someone has a perspective, expresses this perspective, and another party says to this person something like, that's not the way that it is, that's not real, or in reality it's like this, or well, actually that's not how it happened. Anything that invalidates this person's perspective and doesn't recognize the reality of this person's perspective for them. Anything that makes them feel they can't trust themselves, that what they're seeing, they're not seeing or hearing or feeling. Basically, like they are insane and cannot trust themselves. It's a form of manipulation. It's a form of control. It's a form of suppression. It's a form of bypassing. Like, they're all interconnected. Like, different ones of these dynamics that I'm explaining can be kind of enmeshed together. So basically, watch out for just feeling unsafe in a relationship, basically. So, gaslighting, not respecting and valuing and validating the perspective of each one. So, when gaslighting is happening, what do? So, if you notice that you gaslit somebody else's perspective, own it. And say to that person, hey, like when I said this, I recognize that that might have made you feel like your perspective wasn't allowed to exist. I'm sorry. And take care to choose language that's validating at the same time as you can still hold your own perspective. Just because somebody comes to you with a perspective, it doesn't mean that you have to invalidate it in order to keep your own. It's possible for one perspective to be different and another perspective to be different, and for them to both exist and both be valid. So perhaps validate your own perspective and validate their perspective. If you're on the other side and you are being gaslit, say, hey, when you said this, I felt like my reality isn't allowed to exist, or I doubted that what I'm feeling is real, or something like this. And hopefully this person is going to see that and relax that pressure and validate your perspective. If you tell a person that gaslighting is happening and there is no willingness to admit it and work on it together, I recommend that you get the fuck out. So, those are 5 dangerous, abusive, social dynamics that I have chosen to talk about today. These are not the only 5 social dynamics that can happen. These are just simply 5 common ones that I've chosen to speak about. I hope that it has supported you to gain more awareness about what these are, to be able to spot them when they're happening, and also given you some ideas about what to do and when to get out. So if you're not sure what is happening, or you want to know if there is even something happening in the group, do you feel safe with these people and like they look out for your best interests and like you can trust them? And if you express that, can they receive that and support you without pushing the entire responsibility onto you? How to recognize a safe group is that it will take responsibility, and each one will take responsibility of their own stuff, and it will work through things together. If you feel unsafe and like that kind of communication is not possible, I recommend that you get the fuck out and seek connections where you can establish that kind of communication, where your wants, needs, desires, feelings, perspectives, and everything like this is validated and valued and allowed and received. And where also honest communication like that is being shared with you and you can receive it. And it can be symbiotic like this. The whole group has the responsibility and the potential to care about the way we affect each other, as well as to have personal responsibility for our own stuff. We cannot have one without the other. So thank you for being brave enough to own your own stuff, and also to consider stopping enabling others who are not doing that, and to instead support the possibility of everybody taking that kind of responsibility and everybody caring about the way that we affect each other, and being proactive about finding solutions that feel good to everyone. Because, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody in between, zero-sum games are killing the planet. War is a zero-sum game. If we can approach these dynamics on the micro levels that they're happening in our lives, perhaps the ripple effect that is sent into the world can become a less violent one. And we can start to care more about how we affect each other and how each one is really, and what we all need. And to relate from that divine place of what is needed, like really needed. If you resonate deeply with this energy, then I invite you to come on over to Patreon, where we can go deeper into this energy together, support each other, and I hold space and share valuable, important, exclusive content that is here to support the sustainability of the planet, of yourself, and of your life, and of harmony with each other, of inner healing, growth, development. I am pleasured to share with you the work of my life. From all of my experience, whatever I've found, whatever is coming to me, I'm sharing it with you as resources. Also, we have a community chat function, and my vision is to attract like people who want to relate in a respectful and conscious way, and to come together and share as a community, and to be a part of something that has a vision of creating real, genuine, positive change on the planet. So if that calls to you and you want to be held by and danced by the momentum of this space, then please do come and join us on Patreon. You're more than welcome. There are 3 different price tiers to choose from so that you can choose what resonates with you the most. I also do offer one-to-one sessions if you would like to go that little bit deeper and be supported one-to-one by me. That could be a range of things. We can do emotional healing, parts work, creative coaching, many different facets. Like whatever you need, we will come up with a unique approach that is just for you. Thank you so much for listening and for opening yourself up in this way. Please do give this video a like if you found it valuable, and comment down below and let me know your experiences with these dynamics. Has any of this happened to you? Is any of this happening to you? What are you going to do about it? Do you want to ask support of other people in the comments? Let's come together, guys. I don't mean guys as boys. I say guys as a neutral term. Let's come together, guys, and be proactive about supporting healthier social dynamics and supporting each other while these dynamics are happening. And subscribe if you have not already, so that you will be notified and can come and participate next time I post more soul freedom harmony content. The more that you engage with my content and share it and like it and comment, the more that this message can reach other people who need it. If you know someone who needs to hear this, please share it with them. And yeah, please support my channel to grow so that we can keep spreading these vibes and supporting a more sustainable, aware, kind, healthy, loving, inclusive planet. So thank you so much. Take care. I'll see you soon. Lots of love. Bye for now. Namaste. Thank you so much. And I just keep saying thank you. Bye for now. Love you. Blah, blah, blah.